We have time now to talk about this guy, yeah? I can't remember who it was that suggested I sign the stone, and I did it, yeah? Because I'm a man of the people, yeah? We listen to the people, but where are you now? Look at your Don. Look at your guy in the midfield not doing anything, bro. He's a passenger, just there chilling, fam. He's getting hooked in a cup final. Big January signing, yeah? Coming off for Shrek, bro. Like, come on. We're gonna do this again, and we're gonna do this right. We are back, boys. We are actually back. But this is gonna be a different kind of video because it's the exact same episode from the last video, and I'm really just doing it for my own mental sanity. Because I was thinking that, like, yo, am I just really gonna have a whole Barcelona career mode series where one random video doesn't have a face cam? No! Yeah, we're going back and we're redoing the video. It's the exact same stuff. So if you haven't seen it, stick around. But if you have already seen the video, then you don't really have to watch it. But I'd still appreciate it if you did, if you liked, if you subbed, and yeah, still supported the channel. But of course, we faced Real Oviedo in the final of the Spanish Cup, and yeah, I was very impressed by them firstly even making it there, because how likely is it that a second division side make it to a cup final? You know, very, very unlikely, so fair play to them. However, if you've seen this video, you know how the story ends. We had to be a bit of a villain in this fairy tale story. Their Leicester City moment, yeah, their Birmingham City moment. No! Not on our watch! Somebody had to die, and it wasn't gonna be us, so unfortunately Real Oviedo had to be sacrificed for the greater good. And to be fair to them, they had the right approach, you know, playing a counter-attacking style against us only made sense for them to surrender possession to Barcelona, and their plan was to get those very few moments and to be clinical with them. Unfortunately, them being a second division side, they don't have the most clinical of players. They do have Santi Cazorla though, which was a pretty nice story. He came through there, I believe, their academy. I could be wrong, but he definitely played for them before. Of course, went on to have a very good career, and now is back there. Of course, we went for the 4-3-3 with the false nine with Joao Felix there, and this just ended up being a Joao Felix masterclass. I was disappointed with the performance of Angel Alarcon on the left wing, because he was so good heading into this final. You know, he really made his name this season in this tournament. I think he had maybe 1 or 2 appearances in the league as well along the way, but he really got his minutes in the cup. Looking at how the game played out yet again, watching it again is so different because, you know, I usually react live to the gameplay as it's happening, and I'm like, okay, this is sick, right? Like, they're authentic reactions and everything, but now I feel like I'm rewatching it back. I literally am watching what you guys are watching as well right now, and that goal from Joao Felix was just insane, right? Because like, it's a cup final, and to have the audacity to just be like, hey man, we're gonna Travella this into the top corner. Like, hold on, bro, who are you? Yeah, what's this? But hey, he did it from the edge of the box as well. Pretty sick stuff, and we played well. You know, we played well, but in the first half, we weren't as clinical. We weren't as sharp in the final third. I guess it has to do with, again, the rotations, and although the false nine tactic has worked, we've only used it a handful of times. You know, I'm sure we've played with it maybe like 4 times. So, of course, it was going to be difficult, and this defending, by the way, was just awful. You see how the ball just keeps coming infield from the wide area, Balde out of position, Araujo gets dragged out, Kunde gets dragged out, space in the middle. And at this point, I was actually nervous, bro, where they equalized. And it was like, okay, are we going to be those guys? Yeah, are we going to be out here handing out careers? Is this what we do now? But no. We had to react, and we did. I mean, it took us making subs as well for that to happen. But, you know, needs must. That's why you have the bench and stuff, because even in this play, you see they are looking threatening on the counter. And I have to talk about Guido Rodriguez. We have time now to talk about this guy. Yeah? I can't remember who it was that suggested I sign the stun, and I did it! Yeah? Because I'm a man of the people. Yeah? We listen to the people, but where are you now? Look at your Don. Look at your guy in the midfield not doing anything, bro. He's a passenger, just there chilling, fam. He's getting hooked in a cup final. Big January signing, yeah? Coming off for Shrek, bro. Like, come on. Come on. So yeah, he's really disappointed, but at least we still have Romeu. We didn't sell him or anything like that. We also brought on Rafinha for Alarcon. And at this point, again, I was starting to feel like, yo, Oviedo may actually have a chance here. So we had to turn the screw. And the impact was instant, not necessarily from the subs, but at least from them being on the field. Because from the subsequent corner, we score through Ronald Araujo, who has been very, very good this season. He's had points where he's made mistakes in games, and he's cost us goals at least. But he's been a net positive, right? Like, he's been big net positive, right? So that partnership of him and Kunde at the back looks very, very solid. I believe we still have the best defense in the league as well in terms of goals conceded. So it just shows how solid we have been defensively. But attacking wise, we have had some problems. You know, especially recently, Lewandowski isn't scoring at the rate that he was in the beginning of the season. I mean, I wouldn't say that he was absolutely ripping up the net at any point this season, but he was very consistent. You know, he'd score like one every other game at least, maybe a brace here and there. But right now, the goals have really dried up for Levy. And at the age he's at now, if he doesn't offer you goals, he doesn't really offer much more, right? Prime Lewandowski was this incredible athlete who would be sick at hold-up play, be sick at linking up play, and be so good at pressing and, you know, have pace and everything. Right now we have finishing. If the finishing ain't there, my brother, you offer nothing. Yeah. So in a way, that's why we've kind of been transitioning into that false nine. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but, you know, we're slowly phasing out Levy as he gets older, and we're trying to think of a way to play without him in the future, like life after Lewandowski. You know, we have to plan ahead, and it seems like we may have a way of playing here with the false nine, but it's still yet to be proven at the highest level, right? Because who remembers that Atleti game where we played the false nine and Joao Felix was just ineffective? You know, maybe it's because it's Atleti, maybe it's because it's his parent club and they're gonna make sure that he doesn't get a sniff, like they're gonna mark him extra tight because they know him so well. You could argue that, but yeah, he's only played this role against Oviedo, against Benfica. I can't remember if he's played it in the league before. But anyway, the point still stands. We are planning for life after Lewandowski. Because, again, he's not getting any younger. And with the way we're going to be doing this career mode without spending any money and only relying on swap deals, we may have to even use Lewandowski to potentially get a big attacker, right? Like, I've really been disappointed with Ferran Torres, man. He hasn't done anything this season. Like, genuinely. He hasn't contributed to anything, bro. He's played on the wing, he's played up top, and yeah, he has a goal here and there, but overall, he hasn't done enough to cement his spot in this team. Because really, with Lewandowski out, we should be putting in Ferran Torres as the striker, but we've had to change up the whole way we play just because he hasn't delivered. And Gavi, again, I'll just highlight how underrated this guy is for what we do. You know, I doubt he has a lot of goals. I doubt he has a lot of assists, but just ball retention. Ball retention is so key, bro. You know, you think of teams such as Manchester City. They have like Jack Grealish for that, who is a guy who sometimes gets criticized for his GA, but when you understand the balance, people always talk about balance in attack and balance in a team. Not everybody can be a goal threat, right? That's why most of the time you see when we play with the false nine, we play Gavi on the left and we play Rafinha on the right. And Rafinha is going to get more goals than Gavi, but Gavi may play that pass before the assist. You know, he may break the line, he may open up space, and yeah, I just felt like I should highlight that because yeah, Gavi is very, very good. And at the beginning of the season, I didn't really know where to put him. You know, I was thinking of putting him in the midfield, but then he's not better than Pedri nor De Jong, especially for what we need. His dribbling is excellent, though, right? It's absolutely superb. So that's why I was like, hey, maybe we try him on the left, and it proved to work. And even in this game, he proved to be very effective. Actually got on the score sheet as well as we beat Real Oviedo 5-1 in the Copa del Rey final to lift our second trophy of the season. And right now I'm starting to think, boys, that we could do something crazy here in our first season, you know, because we already have the Super Cup. We now have the Copa del Rey. We sit in second place, just a few points, I believe potentially a point behind Atleti, right? And we're in the semi-finals of the Champions League. So I'm like, it's possible for us to win everything in our first season. And, hey, there's still a long way, but we're in April now, and that possibility is still there, you know, and it's a big possibility as well. It's a big task and a big ask as well, but you know, we're still in the conversation as Marc-Andre ter Stegen lifts the Copa del Rey. Really, why don't they have the real trophy in here, man? Like it's like you have the real league, you have the Champions League, you have all these things. Why not the real Spanish Cup? You have the real English Cup, the real Italian Cup, the real German Cup. What's going on? Yeah, this makes no sense. I have to call it Copa de España, no, it's Copa del Rey. Yeah, get it right. Get it right. But there we are celebrating the trophy at the Civitas Metropolitano, which again, I'll point out how ridiculous it is that we've competed here already 3 times in one season. And we were going to play there again once more, as in the quarterfinals. Of course, we were drawn against Atletico de Madrid. The final 8 was very, very impressive, to be fair. Like, all very good teams. I guess Leipzig are the only ones where you're like, what are you doing here? But they are still a good team, right? And I don't know why they have proven to be our biggest rival almost this season, right? Like, to a point where we've only faced Real Madrid once, and it's like an afterthought, bro. It's like, where are Madrid? Yeah, they aren't in the Champions League. We didn't meet them in any of the cups. Like, nothing happened. Normally, you get like 3 or 4 El Clasicos in a season, but no, we had Simeone Ball 6 times this season. This is the team we went with. We went with Lewandowski up top just because of, again, the failed experiment of the false 9 against Atleti. We were like, yeah, Joao, my bro, you can't really lead the line against these men. They will kill you even if you sniff the ball. So at least move over to the left. So in this instance, I guess it was unlucky on Gavi to miss out, at least to start on the bench. But this team is probably the most aggressive team in the attack that we have, because of course Lewandowski is very direct, Rafinha is very direct, Joao Felix not so much, but can still be. He is more direct than Gavi, for example, right? Yeah, I thought we had to go big or go home in a sense against Atleti, because in the game before this they beat us. They beat us in the league. They beat us 2-0. So we had to really bring the game to them, especially being at home in the first leg. We had to make that count. So we went about this very well. You know, we kept them very quiet. We limited them to half chances at most, and our pressing, just like in this instance with Joao Felix, was also very effective. You know, we had them on the ropes, but once again in that Atleti defense marks this guy so tightly. Like, every time he's played against Atleti, he's played awfully, and nothing was different in this game either, to be fair. Nothing was that different. He still didn't have a good game, but although we kept Atleti quiet for most of the game, of course they still had like a couple of pop chances, but you see there, it's a shot from outside the box, right? Having a world-class goalkeeper like Marc-Andre ter Stegen, you expect that to be saved every single day. But if I'm being fair, we were close to halftime here, and we also didn't have any clear chances. You know, most of our chances came in the second half, and this first half was very tactical. It wasn't a game for the casual fan to watch. for entertainment or anything. It was more about the nuances of the game, the very fine margins of the game, where each team were going to be able to get a advantage in the game as well. So again, something you expect from two teams who know each other inside out. And that was just the feel of the game. It was like, okay, it's going to take something special or somebody really messing up for there to be a difference in this game. But somebody had to step up in the second half and really take the game to the opposition. And both teams did that. Both teams started to play with a bit more tempo, be a bit more direct, not as safe. Whereas in the first half, both teams were very cautious, not really trying to lose the game. Like two high-level boxes, just, hitting the jab, keeping the distance, finding your range and all that good stuff. But to stay in there with a very big mistake that we don't get punished for. Very soon after that, the defenders pass the ball back to him. I mean, they trust him, bro. He is a very good ball-playing goalkeeper. Probably the best, if not one of the best. But Joao Felix here, good dribbling, good initiative, but again, the execution not quite on. And Oriol Romeu, he shows the difference, right? When he plays, bro, we are so solid in midfield compared to when Guido Rodriguez plays. Which to me doesn't make sense, right? If we're going to go about it the whole video game, he's rated higher, right? But it makes no sense, bro. He also has more play styles. At least statistically, should be a better defender. But when it's on the field, it doesn't translate that way. So I don't know, dude. But Oriol Romeu is definitely our best DM, which makes no sense, but is true. Showing it again, they're winning the ball back, but this time, play the ball out wide to Rafinha, and you see how the game is now open. It's up and down. Both teams are attacking. Both teams are pressing. Mistakes on either side. Yeah, the tempo was really increasing, and I have to give Atleti credit as well, because they are the away side, and we didn't have to take the game to us. We had to. They could have just sat back and be like, nah, these men will come on to us, and we'll just counter them. But even the changes here, Simeone bringing on Memphis, he was really trying to go for the game, and we had to react as well. We had to show that, listen, yeah, this is our home stadium, and we had to do something as well. Romeu came off solely because of the yellow card. I don't want to risk us potentially going down to 10 men and us losing him for the second leg, or even if we make it through for the potential semi-final, right? So he came off. We also brought on Gavi for Joao Felix, only again to sustain attacks, to keep the pressure on Atleti for the final 20 minutes or so. And soon after that, we get a goal from Robert Lewandowski from the corner that just follows the substitutions happening. Levy rises highest and scores to get the breakthrough, and that just typifies how this game went. It was going to take something unusual to score. A set piece, potentially a penalty, potentially a mistake, just like Ter Stegen made there, but Atleti did not capitalize on that. This was always that game. I had the feeling that there weren't going to be many goals, especially in the first leg. Both teams wanted to stay in the game and take it to the second leg. And we, of course, wanted to win the game because we're at home and go away with a lead. But, again, the chance for Gavi, nothing great. Nothing clear-cut where you're like, you absolutely have to score that goal. I'm sure even the XG in this game was very low, right? And, again, not really an entertaining game, but just a typical Champions League game between two teams that know each other and two teams from the same country. You see this all the time when teams from the same country play each other in the Champions League and the game is very low scoring. You can think of when AC Milan played Napoli in last season's Champions League, or when Manchester City played Chelsea in the Champions League final. Like, normally when two teams from the same country play each other, yeah, you don't get a lot of goals, bro, because they know each other, innit? And they both know each other's strengths, and they both respect each other as well. And that was the case here. A chance at the death for Rafinha to potentially make it 2 and really give us a big boost heading into the second leg. But the save from Oblak denies him. Again, Atleti are the team we were competing with in the league as well. They are above us. So this was a case of the two teams, or the two best teams in Spain, I should say, facing off in Europe. And the two best teams in England as well, Arsenal and City, drew there. So again, showing what I meant by the two teams from the same nation meeting each other in the Champions League. Madrid took a lead against Leipzig and a draw between PSG and Bayern Munich. With 8 games left in the league, we were facing Cadiz and they were facing Girona, and we simmed, of course, against Cadiz because we wanted to get back into that second leg game and see if we were going to make it through to the Champions League semi-finals or not. We simmed with this team, again, the likes of Marcos Alonso and Sergio Roberto coming in, Christensen as well coming in, Lamine Yamal coming in as well as just the rotation players. And one of the rotation players, Andreas Christensen, actually got us the goal. Got us the only goal of the game. Winning 1-0 from your centre-back isn't pretty. It really isn't. But results are needed, and there we are, still keeping the pressure on Atleti. Still only 1 point behind them, and now only 1 point ahead of them in the second leg. This is the team we went with. Only one change was made heading into the second leg as Gavi came in for Joao Felix. Again, with the thinking of keeping the ball better and sustaining attacks, and Gavi being very, very good at that. But also Joao Felix being very, very bad against Atleti for some reason. I don't know, some may say Agent Joao, yeah, that he's here to sabotage, but then he's very good in every other game. But yeah, that's the only change we made. So Lewandowski stayed up top and Rafinha stayed on the right. The midfield and the defense stayed as it was. Away at the Metropolitano and facing Atletico de Madrid for the 6th time of the season, we had to get a positive result. And funny enough, last time we played against Atleti here, we beat them 3-0 in the cup. I think it was in the quarterfinals. I think we beat them in the quarterfinals, 3-0 at their ground. But then the next time they beat us 2-0. So, you know, two teams that are very capable of beating each other. Again, it just depends on the day who turns up. It just depends on the day who takes their chances. I mean, let's be real. In the first leg, we beat them through a corner. That was the difference. A headed corner was the difference. And this time, a headed corner did not go on target from Rafinha. And I was very impressed with how we approached this game, because we were expecting more intensity from Atleti, more aggression from Atleti. But for the first time, probably this season, they were very passive. You'll see even their pressing is not as intense as even it was in the first leg, which was a very weird change. I'm sure that this has to be a tactical change from Simeone, right? But yeah, they weren't that aggressive, and we just played our football. You see, they're building up the ball slowly, getting higher up the field, and getting a couple of chances. And ironically, we had more chances in the early phases of this game, which is a game we didn't have to win, over the game in Barcelona, where we had to get a positive result at home. So it was very strange how that worked out. But here, having a free kick, yeah, this is one thing we don't really have. We don't have a dedicated set piece taker. We're like in corners. Sometimes it's De Jong, sometimes it's Gundogan, and sometimes it's even Rafinha. And free kicks as well. Sometimes it's Lewandowski. This time it's Rafinha. But this time Rafinha is very, very unlucky, because it hits the post and then actually hits the inside of the post onto the goalkeeper, Oblak, and it could have easily went in for an own goal, but instead it goes over the bar for a corner. Again, very dangerous from the corner there. Flick on at the near post. Save by Jan Oblak once again, and another cross in, and another save from Jan Oblak, who was really keeping Atleti in this game. And look at that from Gavi, like the slide tackling and everything. But really, this is a game where we could have scored 3 goals in like the last 30 seconds. Let's be real. We had enough chances like the last 30 seconds to at least have 1 goal, but it wasn't meant to be. But this time, It took a hell of a power shot from Rafinha to beat Jan Oblak, who could not save that one. The pace on the ball just too much as he just watches it go into his net. I don't even blame him, bro, because that much power of a strike inside the box, there's no goalkeeper in the world that even reacts to that, bro. So we doubled our lead there, but we didn't really rest at that. We kept going because once again it was like, okay, Atleti aren't gonna pressure us, so hey, we just keep going forward. If they aren't gonna press us or force us into mistakes, then we're just gonna keep it on them. And again, a very weird approach to this game from Simeone. And I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's just how Atleti play, bro, because we've seen these men press us, we've seen these men have us pinned back in our own half multiple times this season, and for some reason, it was like Simeone thought that, nah fam, we're just gonna sit back and sit back and sit back and sit back and yeah, and then what? And then what? Nothing came from that. I mean, this free kick just before halftime was like their best chance. And that's how it went. That's how it went. They just put the ball in, Araujo headed it out, and that was halftime. 2-0 up on aggregate, 1-0 up on the night, and really heading into the second half, all we had to do is control the game. Again, this isn't ironic that with Gavi coming in at left wing, we have this much control of the ball. Trust me, that's the only change, and you already see a difference between how we're playing in the second leg and how you played in the first leg. The only difference is Gavi for João Felix. And again, he hasn't really been taking shots or anything like that, but he does the work that only the, dare I say, purists will appreciate, you know, breaking the line, so on and so forth. And I cannot stop waxing lyrical about him, but in this situation, he does have a shot. A lot of power, not enough accuracy. I mean, he took it on his chest and went for the wonder goal. But yeah, he just dragged it wide slightly. And they never really changed up the momentum. That's the most surprising thing about this game against Atleti in particular, you know. I'm like, fair enough, maybe their approach in the first half was to sit back and to absorb pressure and potentially counter. And you could just say, you know what, we just stopped their counters very effectively. Fair enough. But at no point did they switch it up. You know, we even get our second goal of the game here and now make it 3-0 on aggregate. And still, there's no change where it's like, okay, boys, let's wake up now. It's like, nah, they were very okay with this, which makes me think that maybe they're okay with being knocked out of the Champions League. I mean, if this was the round of 16, I'd understand, but bro, this is a quarterfinal heading into a semi. But anyway, they're still top in La Liga, so I guess you could say they still have a chance for a big, big trophy. And we have a chance at a big, big trophy ourselves here. 2, in fact, but then we'd have to dethrone Atleti in the league as well. Looking at the other results here, Manchester City actually beat Arsenal the second leg to make it through. We beat Atleti, of course, and Leipzig with an upset, beating Real Madrid 2-0 to knock out Madrid, who are out of everything by now. You know, they aren't in any of the cups because they're over and we won them. They're third in the league and quite a distance behind the top 2. And it's going to be a trophyless season for Carlo Ancelotti. Very disappointing. The last game they saw Bayern Munich knock out Paris Saint-Germain, and it sees an all-German affair in the semi-finals, and it sees, well, it looks like an all-Spanish affair, at least from a stylistic point of view, right? Of course, Manchester City play Barcelona's philosophy of football, and of course, Pep Guardiola, Barcelona, Pep Guardiola, Manchester City. Stylistically, you won't get two teams that play more similar. Even Arsenal don't play as similar to City as we do, right? So that's going to be an interesting game in the semi-final. And of course, we have Real Madrid coming up next, who are going to have a say on who wins the title. Because if they somehow beat us, they give a very big advantage to Atleti. But if they lose to us, they give an advantage to us. Soon after that, we have Valencia and, of course, that semi-final that we spoke of. But don't worry, that video is coming today. This is just an extra video. Yeah, 2 videos again, if you've made it this far, then you really are a legend. Then just I don't know, drop something in the comments that suggests that you've made it this far. But anyway, do look out for the next episode, which is dropping today. Drop a like on this video if you haven't enjoyed it. Please do subscribe as well. I'd greatly appreciate that. I'll be with you, pressure. I'll see you guys next time.